And then getting into villains, I'll very quickly go over my list. Number 1 was Dracula. Dracula being to me, the predecessor of all villains. Name any villain. Name me a villain. There's a bit of Dracula in there. Mm-hmm. Okay. Dr. Doom, number 2. Just because he made such a significant impact on me as a kid. And so significant that I almost didn't include number 3. Because number 3 actually seemed a lot like number 2. Darth Vader. Darth Vader always seemed to me like a Dr. Doom ripoff as a kid. Hannibal Lecter, number 4. Back to Dracula, but Hannibal Lecter is more of a contemporary Dracula. Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, number 5. Just because Spider-Man is such a strong hero. And Norman Bates of Psycho, number 6. To me, I think this next one is probably the all-time best movie horror creature, Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger, because he can get you in your sleep. And one of the greatest villains of all time, the Sheriff of Nottingham. Mm. Sheriff of Nottingham. Followed by Lex Luthor, who is one of the best, most realized villains right from the inception of the character. You know, because he started out as Superman's friend and then becomes his enemy. And then number 10, although some people would say he should be the number 1, the Joker. But the reason the Joker really is so far down the list is because he wasn't as fully realized. The truth is, the Joker was not the psychotic character that he is now. Didn't become that until much later in his existence. You know, he wasn't that type of character early on. He was really more of a campy kind of more closer to the Cesar Romero character in the old Batman series than he was Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. So, yes, a great character, but for those who say that the Joker schools all the rest of the villains, actually not true. There are many of these villains on this list that actually school the Joker. Norman Bates, for one. There are bits of Norman Bates in the Joker. There are bits of Hannibal Lecter in the Joker. You know, there are bits of Freddy Krueger in the Joker. They're all there. You?
In no particular order, yet again, because I'm not going to get into the whole ordering system thing. First, Patrick Bateman from American Psycho.
Okay, yeah.
Which, when we posted our thing, Pink Camp Serino, one of our favorite commentators, actually put up his own list. And when I saw Patrick Bateman, I'm like, when I was making my list, I'm like, yeah, I'm a big fan of the book. The movie was all right, but I'm more of a fan of the book, and Patrick Bateman is...
That's Bret Easton Ellis, right?
Yeah. He's one of my favorite writers also. But Patrick Bateman, just a serious, sick fuck. And I mean, he's a bad man. Joker. Godzilla.
See, I never thought of Godzilla as a villain, though.
In the first movie?
I mean, but I mean, even not so much a villain... Well, I'm sorry, go on. I don't mean...
No, we can discuss...
Oh, no, because Godzilla, to me, I mean, to consider Godzilla a villain is kind of like saying the thunderstorm that passes through your town or that tornado that knocks down your house.
If you wanted to pick the tornado from the movie Tornado, you could have done that, because that was the villain in that movie.
That's true. That's true.
So,
okay.
Yeah, quit busting my shit up. No, Godzilla, I mean, the very first movie he was, and see, I kind of him in the Haw too, but he always works better as a villain. Because even in the newer movies, and I think Tokyo SOS, they actually had King Ghidorah, Mothra, and one other one, Anguirus, I think, were the good guys, and Godzilla was the bad one. So even in the some of the newer stuff in the 90s, they actually portrayed him as a villain.
Godzilla's the Ric Flair of Japanese monsters.
Yes, he is. Next one is Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. One of the most hated villains in video games, and I played that game in the 90s too, and yeah, he's a fucking asshole. Next one, Woody Woodpecker. Talk about a dick. That guy was... No.
He's mentally... He's
so is
not
Patrick
connected.
Bateman. So is
he's
Patrick
not
Bateman.
connected is his problem.
So is Patrick Bateman. He's almost in some ways worse than Patrick Bateman. Because he's crazy, but I think he's very cognizant of what he's doing.
You know what? You're right. He is kind of a sick fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stuff he does in those old cartoons
He's very
is pretty
racist.
yeah.
First of all, and he's just always fucking with people's shit.
Yeah.
Breaking stuff.
Yeah.
Remember that one of the early episodes where like Andy Panda was trying to hunt. Well, he was like pecking holes in Andy Panda's in his dad's roof.
Yeah.
And he just didn't want to stop. So they. That's all he did was just harass people, constantly harass people.
Yeah.
And that's why Woody Woodpecker is on my list of all-time villains. Followed up by Darth Vader. Though I think Woody Woodpecker could take Vader any day.
Darth Woody.
Just one of the best villains ever in wrestling, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Bobby Heenan, yep, he was.
My God, did I love to hate Bobby Heenan.
He knew how to push your buttons.
Yes.
He knew exactly how to push your buttons.
And
You're
the guy
absolutely
was
right
a
about that.
genius.
Yeah,
And
he was. The guy was
ever
great.
since he left, there's been no one to replace him.
No.
And he is one in a million.
You don't even see managers in wrestling as much anymore.
No. But he was an announcer. He was a manager.
Yep.
You know, he did everything.
He even wrestled there for a while,
Yeah.
too. Because, I mean, he did start out as a wrestler.
Right.
But the great thing about him was that he was able to make that transition from wrestling to being on that sideline, which these days is a real difficult transition to make, as
But
evidenced by a lot of wrestlers who just can't
But
do
he
it.
just made it look it was effortless for him to do it. Just fall in and out of character.